Welcome to the Love All Sales podcast. Today's episode, I wanted to talk about the new era, the new car salesperson of 2026. What does that mean? Very good question. Salespeople now have to adapt more than ever. Why? Because 92% of all people now start their car buying shopping online. More and more people are when they come to the lot, when they inquire online, when they call, they already know pricing of other cars. It's been this way for months and months, but yet again, so many people treat the customers in the wrong way. And the reason why I say that, like the market no longer rewards friendliness. It doesn't. It rewards control and guidance. If you cannot control the phone, if you cannot guide them, meaning helping them, give them more helper vibes than seller vibes, you are not going to win in this era, this year, selling cars. And average car people are struggling. I speak with a lot of salespeople, managers, dealership principals all across the United States, and they are all telling me that it is getting tougher. And it's going to continue to get tougher because we have to change. And when I say we have to change, we have to learn how to prospect more on our own. We have to learn when people call in how to control the call, when they come here, how to control the conversation. And some people don't like the word control. They use the word lead, but it comes down to leading or controlling. You have to be able to control and lead that conversation. Customers, again, they know the price when they inquire because it's so easy to understand the price nowadays. Before they walk on the lot, understand the number one most visited website in the entire automotive industry is KBB. Odds are they know what their trade is worth. Now it's your job to truly devalue the trade. And that is a huge part that I see and talk to people that they just hand the keys to the managers. They no longer do the silent walk around. They no longer take the customer outside and point out things because this is what usually happens when you're like, so tell me about your vehicle. Well, it's perfect. It's good. And then the salesperson just accepts that. And when you accept that, understand a percentage of all deals fall apart because of the trade value. Every one of us lose deals every single month, depending upon what you offer them for the trade. I was speaking with someone yesterday and they were $8,000 apart. And that is huge from a different dealership. So understand, and it usually is not that much, but that is a key. If you don't learn to devalue the trade, understand, more about that, you're going to lose deals. And I mean a lot of deals. So understand value. Like value is just up here. Does the prospect in their mind feel like they are winning? Do they feel like they are getting treated fairly? Most people, if they feel like they are getting treated fairly, they will buy the vehicle. So you have to do that, but not from a standpoint of analytically. Because if you treat everybody analytically, then it's going to be more transactional. So you still got to win people over. You still got to lead the conversation. You still have to do so much to truly build value in yourself, the dealership. More and more people that I work with, the dealerships, I'm asking them, like, after the test drive, do you introduce them to the service department? And I'd say more than not, say no. Like, they are not doing the steps to the sale and they're not mastering that. There's a reason, like, I consider myself old school, and there's always a reason why I did everything. I never skipped any steps because it builds value. And when you're skipping steps later on, your odds are going to get more pushback. You're going to get less gross. You're going to not get as many deals because you're skipping steps to the sale. And even if you don't master every step, at least do the steps. But when you don't master the steps and you shortcut it, your paycheck is going to reflect that. Like it's sincerely like the internet did not kill, car salespeople. it's killing weak car people because so many people got involved in COVID. Everybody could sell. It was an order taker. Now it's getting a lot more complicated. It's getting like I use more psychology in my approach than most people. There's always a reason why I ask certain questions when I ask certain questions. So many people just they don't know what they're doing. Like my mentor would always tell me, you are an actor on a Broadway stage. And it's very true. Like so many people change their process, change their questions for every person they deal with. So they never really get in a rhythm. The more you stick to yourself like a process, like Steph Curry, the greatest three-point shooter of all time, he misses a few shots. Does he necessarily change the way he shoots? No. And that's the same way with car sales. You've got to do the same thing over and over and over, and you've got to master your process. You have to do that and understand this. Like, how should I word this? Like, most salespeople do this. They rely on the big three: internet leads, showroom ups, and inbound phone calls. They don't prospect daily. The most important thing that anybody can do is just prospect all day, every day. If I'm not in front of a customer, I have to be working on getting in front of a customer, building my pipeline because that is everything in sales. You're prospecting. The better you get at prospecting, it is a numbers game, but the better you get at prospecting, you're stacking the deck in your favor. Meaning, like me, last week I made a week before, I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago, I cold called for 1 hour, called orphan customer and old internet leads. In that time frame of 1 hour, I talked to 9 people. I spoke, three of them blew me off. One person sold a car, set the appointment, they did sell it, and then also had 5 appointments. So understand this, like the phone is not dead. People just choose not to pick up the phone because they are not trained how to get on the phone, how to get really good on the phone, effective communications. Because you can call all of the people that you want to, but if you don't accomplish anything, it means nothing. So most people just don't prospect nowhere near as much as they can. And the average car person, they waste 3 to 4 hours a day. That's 3 to 4 hours a day. That's 15 to, roughly speaking, 15 to 20 hours a week, 15 to 20 something hours a week that you waste. 4 weeks in a month, you're talking about 60 to 80 hours that you waste. That time that you could prospect, time that you could make money. So the reason why most people just don't pick up the phone is they have the fear of the phone. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to interact. You have to master the phone. I'd love to help you get really, really good on the phone. And then on top of that, the follow-up process is everything. Whether that's someone that came in that didn't buy, how to follow up with them properly. So many people, I'm following up with you. Well, if they would have decided that, they would have called you back. So you don't know how to follow up properly. You don't know what to say, like I'm always going to use the assumptive close. Like, hey, super glad I got a hold of you. Super, like, you always got to give them a new look. I forgot to tell you that that was a one owner, clean Carfax, local trade. Like, whatever you didn't tell them, you need to have something that you can share with them, whatever it might be. Use your brain, be creative. And then, like, again, there's no follow up process for the most part. They don't do it effectively. I just mentioned the phone, showroom up, like your internet leads, people that you talk to in service. Like, you've got to understand, you've got to have a follow up process. My best process was getting a notebook and writing down when to follow up with people. When, like, my 7 day, I would ask people to do, when I sold somebody, I would ask them to necessarily give me that perfect survey. And then right after the perfect survey, usually 7, 8 days, I call them and I get referrals. That was my process. So, like everything that you do, you need to treat it like a career and have a process. It's all about your process. I promise you that much. The better you get, the more money you're going to make, the more people you talk to. But so many people, we get in sales because we want to make more money, but then the downside is the flexibility. It's the freedom, and most people can't manage that freedom. They truly can't. They just get comfort. They just become comfortable being average, and that's not the way to do it. You understand this? Like your income isn't controlled by traffic. It's truly controlled by effort that you avoid. Meaning, like most of us, we just waste time. Like if you minimize your downtime and prospect all day, every day, you're going to win. The better you get, meaning your skill sets rise, the more people you talk to, the more effective communications you're going to do. But discounting is also destroying us because weak salespeople, like yeah, if I get my manager to do that, like they just give so much hope, and that's part of the reason why you lose so many deals is because you're like you give them hope, the prospect, then you can't give them a discount. Now you got to come back to them, can't give you a discount. No one likes hearing the word no. So it's all about how you truly present the no. And you've got to understand, like, managers should love this episode, this podcast, because we need to get away from discounting. We, for the most part, all dealerships, we advertise our price because we price them competitively. And then the prospect still wants to discount. They still want to negotiate. And this is one of the best analogies like that I love using. So when they ask for a discount, like just curious, like, do you own or rent your home? They say own, great. If they say rents, all right. So just picture this, okay? Just say you owned your home. And that is, let's just say your home's worth $200,000. And you wanted to sell your home, okay? Someone come in and they offer you 180. You know you're going to get 200 because it's worth 200. Would you sell it for 180? They're going to be like, absolutely not. Who's going to say yes to that? No one. It's the same way in the auto business. We use a system, vAuto. It tells us what our car is worth. This is what it's going to sell for. So you have to understand how to truly avoid discounting. But you should never be like, let me see what my boss will do. Don't do that. Just cut it off immediately. The more you give them hope, then when you come back and then you kill their hope, the less chance of you have of selling them. Kill their hopes very quick. Hey, can you get me a discount? You need to be prepared with what you say. But and understand this, like, and this drives me nuts, sincerely. And that is dealerships, like if you're a manager, if you're a salesperson, understand this. Like you negotiate how much a day, a week, a month, how much gross do you give up? A lot of us give up a lot of money. Why not invest a very small fraction of that and train our people to learn how to not give up gross? You would make so much more money, but yet we choose not to do that. Inbound phone calls, most of us, we butcher them. I've call all kinds of dealerships, we butcher them. Why not invest in our staff to understand how to control and lead a conversation? Inbound phone call, internet lead, how to do better with showroom ups. Invest in your people. It's the number one retaining tool to keep your salespeople happy, to make them more money. It's just, it's invest in your people. And dealerships, like, they train product. But most of them don't teach the psychology behind the sale. I am very, like, everything that I do is more psychology based. And the way I phrase questions, the way I ask questions, it's always a reason because I understand that's more sales than anything, meaning the psychology. And you gotta, like, I've read hundreds and hundreds of psychology books, and you're thinking weirdo, but I understand how the human brain thinks and works, and because of that, it gives me a huge competitive advantage versus everybody else that sells, or just my competition. So discounting, it mainly just means that you're not prepared. And not prepared, you have weak phone skills. But understanding, like, the best return that you will ever get is going to be investing in your people to hold that gross, to hold that profit. Every $500 discount is actually, invest in your people, and it's not going to be a $500 discount. Like, quit giving out discounts. Yeah, we got to do it. It's part of it, but don't give it as much, and learn how to say no, in a nice way. You can never use the word no. That's a mood kill. You got to learn how to avoid that. But the phone is the skill. It's still the number one skill in auto sales because your dealership has tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of customers inside their database. You can go through and just ask yourself, how many people did you sell? How long has your business been open? How many people do you all sell a year? And just do the math. You've got tens of thousands of customers that you can give your salespeople to call. But if they don't effectively know how to truly turn those cold calls into effective communications, you're not going to get anything. Reach out to me. I can help them have effective communications, to actually build value, to set appointments to get deals. Like, it's just, at the end of the day, the phone is the number one thing. More and more people nowadays are starting their shopping online. More and more days, people have to master the phone. And if you don't master the phone, you're going to lose a lot of deals. And I mean dozens of deals every single month. We all chase our numbers in sales, especially, salesperson, management. We want to hit our goals, want to hit our forecasting. But yet again, we don't train our people and we lose dozens of deals a month. I do not understand it. If you were a salesperson and you want to reach your numbers every single month, reach out to me. I would sincerely love to help you do that. And I can teach you a system to make sure that most months you hit it, if not every month you hit it. But why internet leads are so, like, you got to understand this. A great internet department closes at 15%. National average is 8, 9, 10%. Good is 12%. But yet again, so many dealerships don't hit those numbers. And even if you're at 15%, you can get higher. So we have to train our people of how to truly like handle internet leads effectively. The questions to ask. Again, it goes back to the phone because you call them on the phone. So you got to understand how to ask for the appointment the correct way. I was dealing with somebody last night and he tells me that he sells all of his cars on Friday and Saturday. And he was like, every Friday and Saturday, I get hat tricks. But Monday through Thursday, I never sell cars. And I was like, all right, there's a reason. I was like, so Friday and Saturday, do you have appointments? Are these like appointments? He was like, yeah, they're appointments. And I was like, all right, so how do you ask for them? And he told me, and he was like, so what day is best for you? So he gives it more permission based, more like you tell me. And I taught him last night of how to truly set appointments effectively and get people in quickly. And understand this, like, if you allow the customer to dictate the entire sale, you're not going to be as effective. You're not going to make as many sales as you want to. You're not going to get as many sales and make as much money as you want to. So the tone, your tonality, your words, your rate of speech, controlling the call, like, it's everything. And the first person to them wins typically if you're good on the phone. But so many people, they spend, they average 10, 12, 15 minutes to call a lead. My goal was always 3 minutes or under. If you call somebody 3 minutes or under, odds are you're going to get to them first because so many people don't do that. So it's most dealerships, they don't have a lead problem. They truly have a conversation problem. It's the same way with inbound phone calls, same way with internet leads, same way with showroom leads, same way with, like calling orphan customers. Like, you just got to teach your people how to sincerely prospect better, how to close at a higher percentage. If you do that, you're going to sell at a much higher rate. You're going to close higher. You're going to make more gross. Um, but also talk about this. Like, there was somebody that signed up for my training program, and he did that about 2 months ago. And this individual, now he's selling literally 20 something cars a month. And he was this close. Like, if you're not watching it, he was super close to quitting. So good people fail in the car business. The reason why they fail is because of all kinds of reasons. Number one, they don't get the proper training. I sincerely believe that because if they got the proper training, their confidence would be up, then they would sell the cars. But also understand this, somebody yesterday, one of my students in my fifth program, and this individual, his managers just beat up his entire staff every single day, talking about I'm going to fire him and like, but yet they don't train. And I asked him, I was like, and he's getting better, but they don't do any training. And yet again, they just beat him up every day, all day. And I was like, buddy, you need to leave the dealership. And I hate saying that because like he likes the salespeople he works with, but he hates the managers. If you're a manager listening to this, his managers don't do TOs. And on top of that, the TOs they do, they don't close them because they're not good at sales. He was like, they just literally have been there forever and they moved up in the ranks, but they suck at sales. So, like, they beat them up. They're not good. They don't help them get deals. So I was like, buddy, leave. And he's going to leave dealership. So your management is part of the reason why people leave. Your staff is everything. Your culture is the most important part. If you've got a great culture, typically your people are going to work hard for you. Typically your people are going to sell more cars for you if you have a good culture. Like I remember us having like Nerf gun wars when I was like a management, GSM, GM. Like we would have Nerf gun wars. We would have Orbi wars. And I did that because selling cars is hard. It sincerely is. Like I think it's easy, but a lot of people it's more challenging. And by doing that, it releases tension and it just it makes it fun. And I'm very hard on people because I want you to have big paychecks. So I'm going to force you to train every day. I'm going to force you to make 70, 80 phone calls every day. I'm going, and I shouldn't say force. I like this is what you need to do. If you don't do it, we part ways. So I don't keep people that don't work hard because I want to surround myself with winners. That's the reason why I'm very selective of who I let into the boot camp, my big training program, because I want people who work hard. Because if you work hard, I can help you, like sincerely. In a dealership, um, literally that I was speaking with that was considering signing up for the training, they chose not to. And the GM's reason was this was like, yeah, my people, I just don't have the right people. Like you hired the people, like get rid of them, hire new people, or set the tone, and this is what you got to do. Like people just have excuses from everybody. Like there's no excuses in my book. If I was a salesperson didn't have a good month, it's on me. If I was a management and we had a bad month, I never blamed it on anybody. Like I looked at the numbers, this is why we were off, and this is what we do. So understand, like there's never no excuses. You only blame yourself. And you can blame yourself because you didn't get enough of people. Like I had somebody the other day, one of the dealerships that I was training, and one of the salesperson was telling me that they didn't get a deal because the management didn't discount the car $500. And I was like, well, you should have been able to bump them $500. Meaning they just wanted $500 off the car. Like, and everybody wants to blame everybody else. You blame yourself. If you're not where you want to be, invest in yourself. If you're not where you want to be, figure it out. But, effort without direction means nothing. And what I mean by that is like you've got to know like where you want to go. What's your goal for the month? What's your closing percentage goal for the month? Like you got to know where you're going to go. And your effort is everything, but most people waste 3 to 4 hours. They just don't take it serious. So, and again, some people they stay busy, but yet again, they just don't have effective communications. They can't close. So, their productivity is extremely low. That's why you need a sales trainer. One of the best things that I ever learned from my mentor was every month set a budget to invest in yourself. And every single month I buy new books. Every single month, like I do something to make myself more valuable, to learn something, to keep my mind sharp. But nobody does that. I shouldn't say nobody, very few percentage of people do that. So let's talk about the illusion of experience. Like the reason why I say that is because so many people, like when I talk to them, like they feel like they know everything. If they know everything, why aren't you selling, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 cars a month? Why are you not making two, three, $400,000 a year? Because they feel they have the illusion that they know everything. There's levels to this stuff. And, if you're making X number of dollars, X number of units, you're still probably in like a JV league and you can blame it on like the dealership size, how many cars you have, and like all kinds of stuff. Like there was never no excuses with me. When I sold 50, 60 cars a month, we kept 110, 120 on the ground. I would sell half of our inventory every month. I could blame it that, what, Volkswagens don't have a lot of markup, but yet I was making 30, 40, 50 grand a month. Like there's no excuses. If you really want more, then do more and get more. Invest in yourself. So please don't be the know-it-all. Those people just amaze me. And understand this, like there's a very easy way that anybody can sell 20 cars, and I sincerely mean it. I can give you a blueprint if you're listening to this, every single person. If you can't sell a bare minimum 18, 19, 20 cars a month, you were doing a lot of stuff wrong, and I would love to help you get on the right track. So I would just wanted to make this podcast and sincerely just talk about sincerely this year, 2026, the car salesperson, like the average person out there, and why they are not winning. And it's so it's frustrating from my standpoint because it drives me nuts. And I mean, it drives me nuts because, like, I know deep down inside, I have the tools, I have the bandwidth, I have the go, I want to help you. But so many people, including dealerships, they don't want to help themselves. So if you want to stay average, stay average. You have one of the best automotive sales trainers in the entire world. And I've just started this. My business is booming. And I would love to help more dealerships. I would love to help more salespeople, but it all starts with yourself. If you don't help yourself, that's like the old saying, you're what is that? You'll never outgrow your self-worth. So expect more of yourself. Believe that you can get to 30, 40, 50 cars a month. Believe that, but you got to have the skill set. You got to believe it first. You got to have the skill set. Then you got to have a blueprint. You got to have like a roadmap to get there. So, wanted to make this podcast. I know it's short, 25 minutes or so. Share it with other individuals. I'm going to try to do at least 4 or 5 podcasts a week. I want to make all of this is going to be geared towards the automotive industry for salespeople, for management, because that is truly my passion. That is truly like I'm all in on making dealerships, making salespeople the absolute best versions of themselves. So share this with somebody. I love you all. God bless and believe in yourself because I do. Have a great day, everybody.